quick episode recap. Back in the castle, Levi urgently heads over to Decisive to check the situation on the war front. The capital is now secure, and she's felt the magic of 3 strong people vanish from the battlefield, and correctly deduces they are Toma's subordinates. She believes that the tide of battle now favors them, but they are interrupted by Toma, who appears behind them. He casually greets them but states that as long as he exists, the results will remain the same no matter how the battle goes. Toma prepares to fight them, telling them to do their best to resist while he teaches what it means to despair. Setsu soon rushes into the castle, worried about the safety of the girls. They lay defeated at the hands of Toma, and he gets angry upon seeing their condition. Toma calmly greets him, offhandedly remarking how jealous he is to see him rush over for his friends. He was waiting for him to arrive before he kills them, but Setsu suddenly attacks, unwilling to let that happen. They're past the point of talking things out, and Toma agrees, stating they'd have plenty of time to talk once the world is destroyed. Setsu and Toma clash once more, slowly gathering their strength. Toma morphs his sword into a spear, but Setsu easily deflects it, sending it through the building and into the clouds, where even the sky cracks apart. Witnessing this, the girls get shocked, acknowledging that they are on another level. But this was merely a warm-up for them, and they prepare to fight more seriously. Toma initiates the battle, and Setsu parries the blows, sending a slash to counter them. Toma uses the distraction to attack, successfully landing a hit on him. He mocks that Setsu has lost his touch, but as soon as they clash, his sword gets knocked out of his hand. Surprisingly, Setsu drops his sword, opting for a fistfight instead. Toma uses magic to make distance from him, but he's also garnered some injuries now. He plays it off as having let down his guard, forgetting that Setsu is a tricky fighter. He calls back his sword and changes its form into that of a bulky gun, and he sends a blast of energy at him, easily piercing through a mountain a distance away. Worried that Toma would start shooting everywhere, Setsu swiftly approaches him and kicks him into the air. They begin an aerial battle, and Toma is unable to land a hit on him. Frustrated, he transforms his weapon into a machine gun, trying to pelt Setsu instead. It seems to have worked, but he's blocked it using a magic shield. Setsu then summons his own favored weapon, Gluttony, and has it devour the incoming attacks. He starts to gather his magic, unleashing it as 2 sword slashes at Toma. While they remain at a standstill, Setsu's friends gathered together to cheer for him. He tries to convince Toma to give up once more, but as Toma recalls how Setsu went on his journey, gained new allies, and ultimately left him alone, he heatedly begins to charge his power. Feeling it up close, Setsu realizes that this power is not actually Toma's, and recalling the past, confirms what it is. Willing to sacrifice part of his life for power, Toma demonstrates his own limit break, shocking everyone with his oppressive strength. A new phase of the fight begins, but Setsu can only do his best to dodge and is unable to approach Toma. Toma is impressed he remains unharmed in the onslaught and directs his attention to Setsu's allies instead. Setsu realizes too late at what's happening and hastily tries to devour the attack, but some of it still goes through. Luckily, a magic barrier was erected with the support of everyone, and they managed to remain unscathed. An infuriated Setsu begins his counterattack, and Toma briefly loses sight of where he is. He rapidly sends a barrage of attacks at him, eventually causing Toma's weapon to break apart. Setsu moves in close and hits a critical blow on him. As he falls, Toma recalls the memories he's made together with Setsu. He remembers the promises Setsu made and the struggles he had to be recognized by him, only to be brushed off for Setsu's newfound friends. Toma's energy runs berserk, and he creates a giant cannon that fires directly at Setsu. He tries his best to block it, but it's too much, and he is sent plummeting to the ground. Toma lands next to him, and seeing Setsu struggle to get up, gets excited at the prospects of victory. Finally beating the one he struggled to reach, Toma justifies his reason to destroy the world as correct. He's celebrating too early, however, and Setsu is ready to begin the final phase. He casts dimensional magic on him, shocking Toma at how much strength he still has left. Now trapped, he can do nothing but watch as Setsu's attack quickly encroaches on him. He falls into despair, afraid that he will die, and terrified of dying alone. All he wanted was to stay by Setsu's side and be protected by him, but Setsu shows no remorse as Toma gets swallowed by the darkness. As it begins to snow, Setsu observes the defeated Toma. The corrupted jewel is now shattered, and Toma gradually awakens. Killing him was never his objective. Setsu took a risk and used his sword to swallow the curse on Toma instead, hoping to bring Toma back to his senses. After all, he promised to protect him. Toma did many unforgivable acts, but he'd rather him atone for his mistakes than kill him. Everyone rushes over to their location, and the war finally comes to a close. Later, Toma awaits his sentence in prison. Setsu informs him that his punishment is to use all of his magic to create a transfer spell and send the students back to Earth. He's shocked that it's such a simple judgment, but this will render him unable to use magic anymore, and he will become a harmless regular human. With this in mind, Setsu encourages Toma to also take the chance to return to Earth and start over. This punishment came after long negotiation by Setsu, and the leaders reluctantly agreed to it. Realizing Setsu kept all of his promises with him, Toma sheds tears. Using magic one last time, he creates a transfer circle, allowing the students to enter its bounds and be taken back to their world. Setsu wonders why Toma didn't return with them, but he wants to atone for his mistakes. He tells Setsu that he will be going on a long journey, wanting to see the world and look for ways to help it, just like Setsu did all those years ago. With Setsu's acknowledgement, they walk their separate ways. Now that the world is at peace, he can finally go off on his own adventure like he's always wanted. Elka very much wants to follow him, but she and the others have too many post-war duties to deal with. Instead, it's Yuhi that will be joining him, more than happy that she can keep him company. They say their farewells and depart, and they eventually make it to the sea, where Levi sits waiting. She's proud to show off how safe the sea is with her protection, but a giant octopus pops out, and she is forced to eat her words. Levi pathetically gets entangled with it as Setsu and Yuhi watch on. In the demon capital, Setsu approaches Desu, happy to see the nation recovering well after the war. Desu shows him over to Ruri's shop, which is doing extremely well by selling the calamari she got to eat with Setsu in the past. In the Beastman's capital, the guards once again bar Setsu's entry. And once again, girls drop down from the sky to greet him. Roa became the commander of the army, while the cat siblings stand as her deputies. He's glad to see everyone doing well for themselves, and they all share a laugh together. But the world still has many things yet to be discovered, so their adventure continues onward.